What is going on, you guys? AK40 Kevin here in the gamer heaven, and I hope you guys appreciate the setup that this took. This took a lot longer than I thought it would to set up 6 Razer keyboards. This is every single keyboard in the Razer lineup currently, and I have had a blast over the last month playing with each and every one of these keyboards, gaming with them, typing with them, and using them for multimedia production. And it's time to find out which one's the top dog and which ones are the little pups. Let's get it. Alright, so I got you guys off the stand and we're going to go freehand because I'm the man with the plan, spitting bars. So without further ado, let's go. So we'll start over here with the Chroma, which I gotta say, I do like the keys that the Chroma has. They are mecha membrane keys, which are really interesting because they're not, they have both the capability, or they have both the attributes of being a mechanical where they're very clicky and tactile, but they also have that spongy kind of feeling at the end and that snapback that you get from the rubber plungers in traditional membrane keyboards, and I really like them. To be perfectly honest, I actually think these might be my favorite keys. I would say they're tied with the keyboard that I ended up keeping for myself, which is the Black Widow Elite, which has the green keys. Those are fully mechanical, very clicky, very responsive, not too loud, but these just feel fantastic. Like, honestly, I kind of wish I could keep both of these, but I told myself I'd only keep one, and I mean, this just has the multimedia keys and a bunch of other things that I really like, so but yeah, these keys are really awesome. Let's see if I can pop one off here with my bare hands. So as you see in there, what makes it special is you have that rubber plunger down there in the bottom, which is like a membrane keyboard, but you also have that little metal pin right there, which gives it that mechanical click. And it's really neat because you kind of get the best of both worlds. You do, of course, have full backlit RGB keys that are controllable through the Razer Synapse app. That's the only time I'm going to say that through this video because all of these keyboards have the exact same RGB features through the Razer Synapse app. So again, this is the Ornata Chroma with the mecha membrane keys. This is the only one here that has these mecha membrane keys. Because of that design, the backlighting is kind of interesting. It's kind of looks like it's behind a foggy sheet, so it's just it's a very interesting foggy appearance that it has. You also have a magnetized wrist rest. Now, 3 of these keyboards do come with wrist rests, and they all look identical, but they're not. They all have just slightly different sizes and finishes. So this one feels really good. All of them have this really plush material, super soft on the wrists. It's just, these are literally the best wrist rests I've ever felt. You know, even if you don't have a Razer keyboard, I think they might even sell the wrist rest separately, so definitely look into those. So the Huntsman over here, these have the purple keys, which are light and clicky, and yes, they are to both of those. They are extremely light, like you barely need to push them to get the actuation out of them. It's ridiculous. Like, for my personal taste, they were very difficult to type with when I was trying to do, you know, document typing and stuff. They were just too light for me. Gaming, it really doesn't matter because your fingers are, you know, pretty much always on the same keys, so I didn't really feel like it affected me negatively during gaming, but for typing and whatnot, it was a little off-putting. But the keys are just that really interesting purple design. Very light. This keyboard's very loud, so you might pick up a little bit of the clickiness in your mic, so people might complain on the chat or on your stream that it's a little bit very noisy. So something to keep in mind, is very noisy. This doesn't really have any of the features like the Black Widow Elite, like the pass-through on the side or the multimedia keys. All of these keyboards, besides the Cynosa, which we're going to get to in just a moment here, they all have a functionality where you hold down the function button. The top buttons illuminate in white, showing you what buttons you can press for what functions. They also all have a game mode. Hold down function and G, F10. This will illuminate red, telling you you're in game mode, which disables the Windows key and Alt, so you can make these dedicated gaming keys. You also have a macro key in there, which on all of them is F9 with the function button. It'll be displayed with a red flash here while you're setting a macro, and that allows you to basically have macro keys. So you can have, like, you know, 3 or 4 keys pressed simultaneously just by hitting the one macro. Really cool. So over here, the Cynosa Chroma. This thing is a big old turd. I hate to talk bad about Razer because I'm a bit of a Razer fan boy, but the only thing this has going for it is the RGB lighting and being able to sync up with your other Razer devices through the Cynosa or the Chroma 3 app. This is just a regular mechanical keyboard. This is the same as any Dell, HP, Inspiron, you know, dollar store keyboard you're going to get. There is nothing special about this. The quality feels extremely plasticky when you compare it to something that's has a steel body like this, or even the hardened plastics of some of these other ones. This just feels like, you know, like a sheep in wolf's clothing, basically. It's wearing the Razer badge, but it doesn't live up to the Razer name. I highly wouldn't recommend the Cynosa, especially with all these other offerings being available on sale and refurbished on Amazon for, you know, pretty good prices. So, up here is the Huntsman Elite. This is the Elite version of the Huntsman down here, so it is still rocking those purple keys, which again are very, very loud, very clicky. As you see, no BS, it is the same keys as in there. This one does come with a wrist rest. Come on, baby girl. Oh, she's on there good. There we go. Now this one does plug into the bottom of the keyboard. The Huntsman doesn't come with any wrist rest whatsoever. The Elite does, and this one, you might think, oh, cool, it's got a haptic feedback motor, it vibrates or something. Nope, all it does is has a little illuminated LED strip, and in order to get use of that, you have to plug in a second USB. So for somebody like myself that's already running low on USB ports, I don't want to have 2 plugged in just to have a feature that I don't really care about. So I wasn't a huge fan of the purple keys, and the fact that this has the same keys with the addition of a LED backlit keyboard and some media keys over here, which I do like the media keys. You have this turn wheel with a dedicated mute, fast forward, pause. You can also reset the settings for this in Synapse if you want to be able to scroll up and down web pages, stuff like that. Also, I don't know if this always comes in this box or if that's just because I got it from Amazon. It's a third-party distributor, but the packaging compared to all these other devices, all these other keyboards, was really shitty. Like, all these have a really nice presentation. You open them up, you've got all the Razer branding in there. Welcome to the cold of Razer. By gamers for gamers. You get free stickers. You get, you know, a little hemp rolling paper looking thank you letter. I mean, it's nice, and you don't get that with that cardboard box up there. All right, the Black Widow Elite. We're going to save you for last. Save the best for last. We're keeping this bad boy, by the way, boys. All right, so over here, this is the Black Widow Lite. So we got the Black Widow Elite and then the Lite version. What makes it light is, well, it's a little bit light on features, but it's also 10 keyless. As you see, this is the only 10 keyless keyboard in the lineup. Everything else is a full-size keyboard. That means that this does not have all the numerical keys over there. It just basically is cut off here, which is kind of nice. If you do want to have a smaller keyboard because you have a smaller desk and you don't want your mouse constantly running into your keyboard, butting it for space on your desk, this is a great option. I also do love the Star Wars styling here. I mean, you know, I'm a bit of a Star Wars fan. My desktop setup is stormtroopered out, so you guys should already know that I do like that, but I don't really like the build quality of it too much. It does have kind of a plastic deck here, and then the keys are, I mean, it says silent mechanical keyboard, but these keys don't really feel mechanical. Now you pop them off, they are the orange switches, so they are mechanical, but they don't have that same, there's no clickiness to them, no tactile feedback on them. I guess that's to be expected with the orange keys, considering that's what the orange keys are. They're silent, and they are very quiet. I will say that. You could have this keyboard in a office setting, in a cubicle, and people are not going to want to fill up a tube sock full of bars of soap and beat your kneecaps in. It's not that loud at all. I also do love that little Empire logo up there. That's really cool. This one does not have full color RGB. This only has a white backlight, so that was kind of a bummer. And it's pretty low on features. It doesn't have, I don't believe this one lit up when you hold down function, lights up the top to let you know that you have extra functionality. This is the only one that does not have a game mode or a macro mode. Even the Cynosa Chroma over here actually had that. I should mention that. It does have the game mode that locks out Windows key and the macro mode for setting macros. And you do have some illuminated LEDs up here. I mean, but I would much rather take the Black Widow Lite over the Cynosa, because this is an actual mechanical keyboard. Even though it doesn't really feel like one, it is. It's got those orange keys in there. It's just, it's a very not mechanical feeling mechanical, if that makes any sense whatsoever. Put that back on there. So I do like the design of this one. I just feel like I use the keys on the side, and I really, once I had these media keys, I kind of didn't want to go back. So finishing up over here with the Black Widow Elite. This has the green switches, which are tactile and clicky, and yes, they are. This has the best feeling out of all of these. I have used these equally. I have gamed with them, typed with them. These green keys here feel absolutely phenomenal. Also, the lighting, the RGB effects are actually a lot better on this keyboard because of this lighting style they use. You notice that it's a lot brighter than the other ones, and then you have clear numbering on the keycaps, which just gives it a really nice glow. You also, like I said, have those dedicated media keys up here, which these are awesome. You don't even realize how much you want these until you have them, and then you're like, oh fuck, I don't want to go back. Of course, have the gaming and macro switches up there. There's that function there. These are status lights for when you have caps lock on and scroll lock and num lock and all that other good stuff. There's your macro. There's your game mode. Just a really nice keyboard. This also has the best build quality because it has an actual metal deck up here and then a plastic lower. You also, only keyboard here that has a pass-through. It's a USB pass-through, as well as a 3.5mm headphone jack. So what that means is you can plug in your headphones or your mouse or whatever, and you're getting extra ports, which is really nice. Also have a little railway system in here where you can run your switches or your cables for your mouse, for example, across here. You can have it come out the top or the sides. Also, all of these keyboards, except for the Cynosa, have these two-way adjustable feet, so you can have it raised just slightly or much higher. They all have rubber non-slip feet. And in case you ever get confused about what brand or what model you have, right underneath there, all these keyboards do have braided cables except for the Cynosa Chroma over here, which only has just a little rubber bad boy. All of them are black except for the Stormtrooper one. That's because it's Stormtrooper themed. They do have a Black Widow Lite that is just black, and I think they also have a rose gold one that's part of their quartz collection, which is also a beautiful collection, I must say. And then this one is very thick. This and the Huntsman Elite have very thick braided cables because it's multiple cables inside of that braiding. This one has 2 USB ports and a outlet for audio, so you can actually control another audio device through here. For example, if you have a second set of speakers or something, you can have this media wheel dedicated to that alone, which is really neat. And this one has 2 USB ports because you have that second one for the LED wrist rest, and then you, I think this one has audio as well. Yep, you have a 3.5mm audio jack for this one too, so you do have controllability of an audio device, such as headphones or speakers, with that scroll wheel. So, I think that pretty much does it. I've covered the keys, the features. All of them have RGB except for the Lite. That just has a white backlight. The Cynosa is just a real cheap piece of poop. The Huntsman and Elite are basically the same, with the addition of a backlit wrist rest and media keys. The Black Widow Elite is the best build quality. It feels the best. The keys are a mix of like all the best features of all these keyboards. Has the media keys and pass-through, so that's a win. The Black Widow Elite also comes with this very plush wrist rest, which all the wrist rests from Razer feel great, but this one is actually even softer. I don't know what kind of magic unicorn blubber they used to pad that with, but my god. And it also comes with extra O-rings for all the keys in case you want to change your O-rings out to get a different feel out of your keys under there. So just really nice, and it also comes with a little key puller to make easy removal of the keys. I'm just so used to doing it the ghetto way where I take my finger and pop it up or use a butter knife or something, but nice to have an actual tool for it. Only real downside to the Black Widow Elite, and it's really not a huge deal, it's just a cosmetic imperfection, I guess, is when you go ahead and snap on this magnetic wrist rest, it blocks your Razer Chroma logo down there, but you still have obviously all the keys illuminated, which is tight. And then the Ornata Chroma has just these really nice keys. I just like that they're so clicky like a mechanical, but they're quiet too. They are the quietest mechanical keys here. And it just feels like it'd be more durable if you were to spill something on it because it has that rubber plunger in there, vice a open mechanical switch. So alright guys, hopefully I didn't ramble. Hopefully I guys gave you the facts up front. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.